Hello again, lovely people of the internet. So, welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator, and Jim McJimmer is on his way to 1 million kilometers. So I just need to adjust my VR view. Second, because I'm a little bit too high up. I'm somehow sitting in a strangely today. For everyone who doesn't know it so far, I'm trying to go for 1 million kilometers driving Euro Truck Simulator in VR. That's why you may experience a somewhat strange and or shaky picture. That's just me not being able to look ahead straight, just looking there and down and up, and well, welcome to VR Vomitland. Anyhow, let's go for the day. Yesterday we found this really neat parking spot. So can't see much. Anyhow, I think I will get out. Wasn't there something with the petrol? Yeah, sure, we need diesel. Okay. Okie dokie, here we go again. And I had some thoughts regarding our experience together. There's no car. Yeah, right. So, this truck now has 135,004 kilometers on the clock. And, as I said, we want to go for 1 million kilometers. Hopefully. But I actually was thinking somehow if we set ourselves up for, set myself actually up, but you along the way possibly as well, for such a long ongoing thing, it would be kind of cool if we had an odometer that starts at 0 and clicks over to 1 million at some point in the future. Now I'm currently having 288,000 euros. Also, this trip will earn us, I think, 120,000 something. So we have 400k in the bank afterwards. So I was thinking, why not go ahead and really buy a brand spanking new truck for once, because in the game I never bought one. This is the very first truck which I bought after the tutorial missions, pretty much I think a year back when I started off with Euro Truck Simulator. So I'm fairly late to the game. To be honest, I was not well, I did know that Euro Truck Simulator exists, but never really cared too much about it. Always read a little bit about it, got curious. At one point when I think there was some winter sale or something, 1.5 years now, I'm not completely sure. Anyhow, I finally bought it, not expecting too much. And I was really surprised. I mean, in the beginning it wasn't even that good for me, because I had way less and not so comfortable headset. So I initially, when I got into VR gaming, I'm roughly now in VR gaming for, I'd say, 3 or so years, and it really happened by accident. I always was I still am a technology nerd, not really an early adopter. I used to be one, but too often I bought technology that still seriously was garbage and absolutely not there, so to speak. But just by accident, pretty much, I happened to buy a PlayStation VR headset actually, and the reason behind it was I was really one day checking out a local classified ads app, which is pretty common around here in our area, and I don't know for what reason, just out of curiosity, I wasn't even really well informed about the current headsets that are on the market. I entered VR headset, I think, but the German wording for it. Anyhow, up came a PlayStation VR headset for, let's say, like 60 euros or something. I could not believe it that... Oh shit, we should really go to a fuel station, and there was one. I drove by. Oh my god. I think I will take the next exit. When you have the attention span of a gerbil, life can be hard. Okay, let's have a U-turn and put some petrol into the thing. But this engine really eats up petrol like crazy. The one you can really feel that this engine going through the diesel like it goes out of fashion. Anyhow, back to the main story. So I got into VR gaming roughly 3 years ago, and I couldn't believe that actually VR headset was that cheap. But I contacted the guy. Ultimately, it was really close to my workplace back then, so I could pick it up in the same evening. And I was honestly expecting that thing to be broken or really damaged or whatever. And it really added to the whole experience and also my expectation, because when I arrived there, he sold me the headset out of the boot of a car, so I hope his car, which was standing there in a parking space next to an apartment block. I couldn't understand that you won't let some strangers into your house. It was really a little bit of a strange situation. The guy was nice enough. And well, so ultimately I bought it, gave him the 50 euros, hoped it wasn't stolen or anything or anything else. Went home, connected it with my computer, with my PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 4 Pro, just bought it not long before that. And anyhow, connected it, and I was really, honestly, I think I also got 1 or 2 games somewhere because to be able to try it out, and I was really blown away. I was honestly surprised that it's working that well. I think 1 or 2 of my PlayStation games which I had already supported the PlayStation VR. Would it be a very bad idea if I just go around on the motorway? I think it's... No, let's be good citizens. Take the long U-turn. It's not even that long. It's good. Anyhow, it's Germany. That's why we have great motorways or highways. So I got it. I was completely blown away because, I mean, VR, I'm from the 80s, lived through the 90s, and we were dreaming of stuff like that. Seriously, it was, and now I had like in my back then experience, I didn't know much about this stuff, VR headset for pretty much next to nothing that actually worked, was kinda decent. I mean, I noticed fairly soon that the IPD is really a thing which can be which can ruin your experience, because the adjustability of the PlayStation VR, especially the old PlayStation VR, was horrible, which I know nowadays after years and years in VR. But in general, I was like, whoa. Not long afterwards, after this first experience and playing around a little bit on PlayStation, getting scared to death in Resident Evil 4 VR. Oh my god, I really needed to stop the game after like half an hour because otherwise I would have had an heart attack. Okay, here we go again. So, that was my first headset, and not long after I also got for fairly cheap an old Oculus Rift, the CV1, and that really kicked off. I mean, for a short while, because I got curious, and I always liked to play around with stuff and use it outside of its official parameters. So I connected this with my computer, installed some driver or whatever, got it working, but really wanted to play then PC VR games. So here we go again. So I also bought a used Oculus Rift CV1, and I reduced that for a really fairly good time. Back then my graphics card wasn't really up to... I didn't have enough power. It was just an old GTX 1060, but it kind of worked. It was okay enough. So the resolution of the headset wasn't that great. You had a lot of still of the net door effect. So when you have a vision like looking through a net, but it was cool, and I enjoyed playing on it. Back then I got, I think, already the Euro Truck Simulator, so it's even quite a while now, not even just 1.5 years anyway. But this thing is power consuming, and the GTX 1060, even with the Oculus Rift 1, was a thing, but not a good one. I had like, I think, 40 or so frames, so 20 per eye, and that's not fun in VR. Pretty much a stuttering mess with a lot of optimization. I could get it up to a barely workable 25 or so. Anyway, then I upgraded my graphics card first to what was it? A workstation graphics card, actually, from the W5700, which is a RX 5700, a little bit more powerful than the RX 5700 AMD Radeon, without the XT, but a little bit less powerful than the actual XT. That worked quite well for a good while. After a while I upgraded to an Oculus Rift, not Oculus Rift, an Oculus Quest 1, which was a solid upgrade, so visibility etc. improved by a lot. I really liked it, but what always annoyed me with the Oculus was how heavy they were on the face. They are not very comfortable, in my opinion, headsets. And the Rift being better than the Quest, because the Rift has no built-in battery, but the Quest really was like a brick on my face, to be honest. So I had great times playing, enjoyed it a lot. I mean, first-person shooters are awesome in VR, because, for example, in Serious Sam, really dumb but fun first-person shooter. If you don't know it, they created VR versions for most of their the game iterations, and then you get differently than in the normal version. You have two hands, and you can hold a pistol per hand, and it gives the game a very fun tactical element. Now I pull out here now. Either you get a move on or you will be cut off. Anyway, I should go a little bit faster. happily cutting someone off, going too slow, great move. That's how you do it on the motorway. That's how people truly and seriously fall in love with you. Well, back to the VR game. So I absolutely do enjoy Serious Sam because you have two hands and basically you can stand in a corner, point one pistol in each direction, see something in the corner of your right eye, shoot it. Same goes the other way. Makes it so much more immersive, fun, whatever. And what I never did before, I usually played Serious Sam on flat screen with my wife, which, by the way, is also pretty much into games. So we share this hobby. We prefer different games mostly, but in general we share this hobby, and luckily also first-person shooters for many years now, which makes me really happy. Have a cool wife, and she also is really good in first-person shooters. Anyhow, so I played through some of the games by myself, for just me, and mostly even using more basic weapons. Really, you are so fast in VR with seeing everything and doing everything. You can play major parts with basic guns and still be fairly competitive. You are greetings from physics, because you see everything. You are super precise with your hands. Because there's no moving a mouse to some point or so, it's completely natural to just point with your hand to some place and click, bam, and things are gone. I absolutely did enjoy it. I should play it again. Maybe put something on this channel also, because why not? We can do our trucking, I can also do shooters, because why not? We will see, whatever the future holds. So, how did I end up in this whole tangent of how I ended up doing this actually? We don't need to sleep, we don't need diesel, that's great. After a while I really got annoyed by not really annoyed, but the discomfort of the Quest started to weigh down on me, and also wanted to upgrade visibility, especially getting rid of the screen door effect. And I'm mostly buying this stuff used, by the way. Honestly, never really had a problem. Same goes for my graphics card. So I got this Pico 4 I'm currently having, quite cheap actually, because usually used they are around 200 euros, and I barely dare to mention it, but I paid 80 euros for my Pico 4. So that was really awesome. I was fairly lucky. That dude who sold it said, well, he had it online for a while now. No one really bought it, maybe because he was living a little bit further out in his own neck of the woods. Whatever, I got it for cheap. It's working well, nothing is broken. So lucky me, I guess. But now I had the Pico 4, and the Pico 4 is, while being quite awesome, also really demanding, because 2160 by 2160 per eye is a fair amount of pixels to push for a W5700. And then once again, a couple of weeks afterwards, I could pick up the RX 6750, which I'm pushing now, having now. And this one is really okay for this headset. Most games work out decent enough for me, so I'm having a great time here. And while at least when I had the W5700, I really got into trucking with Euro Truck Simulator, because it was good enough to push it, especially on the Quest 1, and I got this chill feeling of this whole driving experience, this just going along and having a great time, just awesome. And well, how this came up with me doing this thing on YouTube, I was thinking already a long time ago. It would be somehow cool, but you know, I like road trips, and possibly you do as well. But you can't always drive around. You're not always in the mood for driving around. Also, maybe you have had a beer or two, so you shouldn't be driving around. But this feeling of driving around, this whole like vibe of just flowing along endless motorways, I always wanted to do that. I need to switch. Sorry for the change of perspective. I have a button on my somehow my viewing person. I'm off center here. Somehow I need to adjust it. But I'm feeling off center. Let's leave it like that. Sorry for the jumping of the image, but I needed to adjust it a little bit. It was feeling weird for me. Anyhow, I thought like it would be cool to have that kind of feeling, but on videos. Initially, back then, I thought like doing it as live streams, which is kind of thing, so just sitting down. But then I can't invest that much time because, well, job and so on, job, life, whatever. And now there would be the opportunity to do it with YouTube as a live stream or even on one of the platforms. But what really annoys me personally with live streams that are then put on the platforms as a video is the following that there's a chat going on and you really want to interact with people. That's really fun. But for everyone who comes later to the show, then sees the recording, it's like completely annoying because you're telling a story, then someone in the chat says something and suddenly says, "Oh, hello Joe, hello Kitty Cat 69, or blah 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 blah, this is my whatever story," and that's what you say, Joe. That's great. And no one knows without scrolling through the chat what the hell Joe said, and that usually annoys me, and I didn't want to do that myself. Although in the moment I think it's quite fun, so driving along, seeing a little bit maybe what people are talking about, topics, questions. But well, for everyone afterwards it might not be that fun, so I decided against it. So also it makes it a little bit easier technology wise for me, so I can record in the headset, pull the file from the headset and basically simply put it online on YouTube. But that hinders interactivity a little bit, but we kind of can compensate for it, I think, because you can absolutely comment on all the videos. I will read through the comments if there are one, because currently I have like no viewers, which is absolutely fine. Maybe, oops, a bit fast today again. But I can then answer and react and whatnot. So, also, the other people have the reference point if I can read out a question and answer to that, for example. But already many years back, I thought like this kind of vibe of simply flowing along on endless motorways, me not knowing back then that already a software, ETS, exists, which can recreate that near perfectly. Well, and now I can do it, so that's why I'm basically sitting here and doing it now. Just basically doing something I thought about already a long time ago, and maybe sharing that feeling and experience. Another thing why I'm doing it in VR, because I think for the viewer it would be a lot less inconvenient if I basically played on a monitor and I tried it again. The strange thing is for me in the meanwhile, usually when I game, and I do game a lot, I'm in VR. Some strategy games and stuff like that I'm normally doing a flat screen, but recently I tried to play ETS2 as well as I need to we are at the channel ferry. But haven't we been to France? Really? Or is it another train? Well, I wasn't that attentive. Well, okay. Well, whatever. Then let's go. Seems like we are already in France. I ignored it. Well, what I wanted to say is I tried it to play in 2D again, but it was completely awkward for me to play, especially driving games in flat screen, and I felt really dizzy. So because I could really feel how my eyes as well as my brain was searching for information in depth that simply wasn't there on this screen. So I simply can't do driving anymore on flat screen. That's it. And maybe I would get used again, but this experience was really not nice, so I decided against it and thought like, well, why not? But then on the other hand, why not doing something for myself which I actually enjoy? That part of the whole driving this far kind of thing. Oopsies. Didn't know. There's like, okay. Please welcome to me driving horribly, parking horribly. Because why not making a fool out of myself on the internet? Okay, good enough, seems like. If the computer is happy, I'm happy. So, but that also means that we will be arrested, I think, or by just 35 minutes. Oh yeah. Seems like we have been driving through Belgium as well as France, and I have completely missed it. Well, here we are. Let's go! I hope the audio quality is better today, because yesterday I noticed I got the visuals somewhat right. It's still on the choppy side of things, but that's then me moving my head. I can only say in the headset it's clearer, but well, I think that maybe a recording limit. I will try to still further improve, but I'm not sure I can improve all that much without heavily investing into hardware. So might stay like that for a while. But on the egoistic side, it's an incentive for you to subscribe and like and whatever and share and do the YouTube thingy, so I can afford a really super hardcore computer. No, joking. But no, I'm lost. And yeah, it's beautiful here. I like it. It's not this kind of classic beauty, but it's something I always enjoyed, also in real life. I always had a fascination for industrial areas, so things that are not pleasing in a classical sense, but still interesting to look at. And industrial places, also lost places, always have given me that kind of vibe and feeling. Anyhow, what I wanted to say now, tangent of the computer quality from the visuals. Oh shit, this is England. I forgot. By the way, something that happened to me in real life also already, because you might we have been living abroad for a while, my wife and me, so in a country where you drive on the wrong side of the road. And one day I was really tired in the morning, we needed to go shopping or something, do something or the other, and I completely forgot where I was. And at that time I still was driving a car from Austria. Luckily there was no traffic on the road, that's why I didn't notice, but I completely and automatically pulled in on the wrong side of the road. Luckily noticed fairly quickly and pulled to the right side of the road, but it was a little bit of a whoops moment, and yeah. Just like now. England. The country of wheat and whatnot, and apples and pears to measure things, isn't it? No, don't want to upset English viewers. Also, I've been to England, really enjoyed it. Many years already back, but looking forward to revisiting again. But yeah, we really enjoyed our times there. We were been there twice, primarily to London, but that was fairly cool for us. Back in the later half of the 2000s. Well, I remember we have been there just before this big not flood, but yeah, but when I think even the River Thames went over there. I'm searching for words again. Anyhow, even when Ufer, I can't remember the English word now for, well, what's on the side of a river, the surroundings of a river. So basically when the River Thames was too high, let's express, I'm going, oh, that's funny, it converts. Oops. This was the wrong place to look at. And we have been there a couple of weeks before that, in 2007, and I can remember seeing a pub. It was somewhere relatively central to the town, close to the Thames, obviously. And I remember seeing that very same pub later, then a couple of weeks later. And by the way, it was a beautiful, awesome time. So it was sunny, basically 14 days through. Absolutely amazing. London was presenting itself from its absolute best side. I have just fond memories. Okay, well, it's now 89 again. That's when you measure in apples and pears instead of something divided by 10. Anyway. very fond memories. And there was this pub, and I remember seeing that very same pub later on the news, sadly, I have to say. But I enjoyed the humor in the tragedy, because he had a sign on the window, "Gone fishing," and although it was quite tragic, I burst out laughing back then. It's kind of how you deal with bad situations, at least in my opinion. The situation is already shitty anyway, but what you can keep is your humor. And maybe I think that's also something that we share a little bit with the Brits. Austrian humor is quite dark. Not for everyone, but we tend to have a quite morbid style of humor. So, and I know not. Am I too fast again? No. Not all parts of the world do understand this kind of humor as we do. So laughing sometimes about death or being a little bit sarcastic if someone who was fairly nasty bites the grass is kind of, yeah, here around here. Well, not for everyone, but in general, What the once again, I can't drive. Maybe I should check my wheels. So being dying, what I wanted to say, dying doesn't strictly prevent you from being joked about if you have been a little bit nasty in life. No get out of jokes for free card. Ah. So I think we can call it a day, because we're we are close to being tired. So I pull off here. How much do we have left? 300 kilometers. So that means tomorrow we will finish this drive, so with this delivery. To put in some petrol into the beast? No, I think it's fine, and it should be quite expensive here, although I really don't mind. You know what? I put some petrol into the car. Petrol, diesel. Now, funky. Oh, there's just one. Okay, I thought there's another. A pump. So I will then afterwards check the quality of today's recording. I hope I got the audio settings better, because that's something I forgot to mention earlier. Yesterday I made the engine noise too loud and everything else. So it was kind of still okay-ish, but far from ideal. Hope I got it better today. So I put down the lever, the slider for the volume control of the sounds and everything a fair bit. Hopefully it makes it nicer. Here we go again. One day is over, the next day comes. Yes. So, switch off the beast. Okay. So what okay, here we go again. I will stop in a moment. Just wanted to say something. Yeah, sure, we will finish the drive then today, so to speak. I will stop this in a moment and then record the next day. And I think then afterwards once this is done, we can go searching for a truck, a new one actually, and so to fulfill that thing with really going the 1 million kilometer, because I think that's gonna be kind of cool when we do that. If it starts really at 0, it also allows me to put into the YouTube thumbnail something like from 0 to 600 kilometers, from 600 kilometers to 1587. So I think it keeps things interesting in terms of the kind of competition, not competition, challenge. But is it really a challenge? I think nothing like we can put in a week. So what I also was thinking about is for maybe later on do a weekly recap or something like that, or a recap every 10,000 kilometers. We will see what time allows. So I want to keep it low level in terms of editing and stuff. So basically I do no editing at all. I grab the file, put it on YouTube, and construct a fairly amateurish amateur. I'm an amateur. Anyway, a thumbnail, a very basic thumbnail with my full knowledge of, well, not much, that area of expertise at least. Yeah. So, if you have watched my YouTube video for today, thank you for watching. Pleasure to have you with me. Let's see you on day 4 then. Day 3 ends here. Bye bye.